Hello and welcome to this episode of T-Tech. On today's episode, we're going to be migrating OpenBSD from a flat network to VLANs. I do hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it. Alright, hello and welcome to this episode of T-Tech. Today we're going to be migrating OpenBSD from flat networks to VLANs. So what we want to do here is we have EM0 and EM1. And right now, these two IP networks are on two different physical ports. What we want to do, in the end, is have two VLANs using one interface. So that's what we're going to do today, though. So what you want to do is go into the first hostname file. I want to comment the line there out and just say up. You still want to bring the interface up. We're going to go into the second of those interfaces and comment this line. Now you can bring this one up, but it just depends if you want to use it for the VLANs or not. We don't have to, although. Okay, so once we've done that, we want to make VLAN interfaces. So VLAN 10. And in my case, this will be taking the place of the office network. So it'll be 02. With a 24 mask, and make sure to specify the broadcast address, and then we want to put in here VNet ID. In this case it will be 10, and after that you want to put parent EM0. So the parameters after init are normal IP address parameters like a physical interface would have, but the VNet ID is for 802.1q trunks. It just means that when this interface receives a frame, it should have a tag of 10 to be processed by this interface and be on this network. And when it sends a frame, it will tag it with 10. Alright, so the other end of this port is going to be in a managed switch. We'll do that in the next part. But it means that the parent means with all of this that the physical interface that will be sending these tagged frames and untagging them is EM0. Alright? So that's why we didn't have to bring EM1 up, because if we're not using it, we don't need to bring it up. So let's make another VLAN 200. Again, make sure this is the same IP addresses. Oops, 255 there. And VNet ID of 200, parent of EM0. Okay, now what you want to do is do sh etcnet start, and that should restart everything for us. You can also reboot at that point as well. Yeah, okay, good thing this happened. The IP addresses are on those interfaces, so you want to just bring them off of those interfaces with these commands here. Just give it all zeros. Okay, and we'll go ahead and try that again. But the main thing is you do need to have the IPs off the physical interfaces. Okay? So now if we check VLAN 10, pay attention here to VNet ID, make sure that is correct. It's 10, so that's fine. And parent, make sure that's EM0. So we're okay on that, and of course the IPs are fine. Same thing on VLAN 200 for checking. Alright. Now, we have the VLAN interfaces created, so we've moved those two networks that were originally on two physical ports onto two VLAN interfaces. But it's only using one physical port to make two networks. That's why it's a VLAN. It's a virtual LAN. The last very important thing, though, this is a firewall in my case. So I want to go into my etcpfconf, and we already have a configuration where these two networks were using physical ports. And you can see I'm passing Office and DMZ traffic out, and because the macro has the physical port, that is what we're using. But remember, we moved Office to VLAN 10 now. So that network is on VLAN 10. So we have to change the macro to say VLAN 10, and we have to change the one for DMZ to say VLAN 200. Alright, so with that, without changing the macros, the VLAN traffic will pass. There's a very important thing you have to do though. Because we changed it to a VLAN interface, and remember how I said the physical port is receiving frames for those two VLAN interfaces because that's the parent port for those VLANs. You have to allow traffic to get onto EM0. In this case, I have block drop all first and no quick rules. So if I don't allow EM0, the traffic will not get to the VLAN interfaces, and it will break the network. So down here, though, we'll just say pass VLAN parent interface. And up here, you also want to make a new macro real quick. Call it VLAN PT. And if you add more VLANs, you just make more. Just like that. And now we want to say pass in on VLAN PT. And there you go. So we're going to save the file. And we can check it. And we'll flush the rules, then reload. And now we're all set. So we're passing the physical parent interface, the VLAN networks, and we're passing those out to the WAN and natting them. So that is how we move from flat networks to VLAN networks. So when you reboot, it will just come up for this. But now we have less physical ports for that, and less cabling, less switches, things like that. But we can still filter between them, as you saw. Now the next part, though, we also need to set up the switch to be able to send the tag frames to EM0 so those sub-interfaces can actually operate. So I will see you in 1 second. Alright, hello and welcome. So as we said, we're going to go ahead and configure this switch for VLANs. It's a 3750 switch, but it does not have to be a 3750 switch. Alright, we're going to say no to the initial dialog, change the host name, just put secret on here, and a user. Go to the console, and we want to secure that. Alright. And we will secure the VTY lines, but honestly, we're not using them in this case. Alright, so that's our main setup. And we're not going to set a domain name or anything. Now we want to restrict IP routing, so layer 3 switch. We don't need it here. And now we want to make our VLANs. So VLAN 10, and this will be the office. 200, and this will be the DMZ. And then we're going to go int range. Let's see on this switch G0. 101 through 24. Okay. So here I want ports 1 through 10 to be in access mode, and I want them to be in VLAN 10. Alright. I also want to have the ports 10, 11 through 15. I want those to be shut down. And now I want, whoops. Now we shut down 11 through 15. And I want 16 through 19. I want those ports to be part of VLAN 200. Okay, that leaves 19 through 24 left on the switch. And what we're going to do for that is go to G010 and range G010 20 through 21. I want to shut those off as well. and actually also 22. Now that I have 2 more ports, I'm going to go G10 range G10 23 and 4. I want to put these in a trunk. Oops. This one also supports ISL, so you have to set the encapsulation mode. Whoops. Switch port trunk encapsulation.1Q. Alright, now that we've done that though, we can put it to trunk unconditionally, and I want to remove, let's see the command here, trunk allowed VLANs none here, and I only want to allow 3 of them, okay? So we want to add VLAN 1, 10, 200. Alright, with that though, let's quick check. Show. Okay, so VLAN 1, those ports are fine, and the trunks are in there, but the other ports are shut off. And VLAN 10 here, okay. And 200 is okay as well. Is do show IP and brief. We want to make sure the ports are shut off that we want to shut off. 11 through 15 are off, 16 through 19 are in the VLAN, 20 through 21. Alright, those are done. Okay, last thing you want to do is show interface G023 switch port. You want to make sure it's a trunk, okay? And you want to also make sure that you have the trunking VLANs that we added and just those VLANs. Okay, everything looks okay on that. And we'll check 24. Alright, we're okay on that. Now, the last thing is just turning off. Okay, those services there. And now there is no IPs, so that's why I didn't do anything with an access list. The thing is, this size of a network, if there's something wrong, I'm just going to walk in here, I'm going to plug in a console cable, hook it up just like I have it hooked up to configure it, right, with a console cable. You know, if it's in a bigger network, you want to monitor it with SNMP or something similar. Use add an IP on the VLAN interface, especially for setting up NTP and things like that. Again, depends on your circumstances. Alright, with that, let's do a show start real quick. We're all good to go. You always want to double check that. So, with that though, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm Tyler with T-Tech. Thank you for viewing, and have a very nice day.